Welcome to the Porn Reboot Podcast, where you get practical tips to gaining control over your porn or sex addiction. We help ambitious men end their out-of-control sexual behavior with pornography, sex, and masturbation so that you can maximize your life, perform at your potential, and remain in control in the driver's seat, which is where you have to be in order to gain or maintain the success you want in life. I'm your host, J.K. Emezi, certified sex and porn addiction recovery coach. Welcome to the episode. You need a personal brand. If not, you're going to be completely destroyed by AI. I'm not a big AI fearmonger. I'm the sort of person who adapts to whatever the situation is. However, with the speed at which AI is being developed, there's a very real possibility that many regular jobs and careers are going to be wiped out. And I know a lot of people have been talking about this, but it's becoming so real. There are so many things, even within my companies, that I have seen completely taken over by AI. So this message is for those of you who may feel a little bit confused and worried, and frankly speaking, overwhelmed by everything that's happening with technology. Build a personal brand. I pulled up the definition here of a personal brand, and Google's AI says that a personal brand is the unique combination of skills, experience, and personality that defines how you are perceived by the public, acting as your reputation and your personal story. It is a strategic, intentional, and often public-facing representation of your values and expertise. So why is this important? I'm not saying build some sort of coaching or consulting business. What I am saying is that in order for you to differentiate yourself from all these other people who will be heavily relying on AI, in order for you to remain human in the way you communicate with the world, in order for you to be competitive, you will have to put yourself out there. You will have to express your values. It doesn't matter whether you're a lawyer, a mortgage loan officer, you're in marketing, you are a video editor, you are a truck driver, you own a restaurant. None of that stuff matters. You want to differentiate yourself. Continuing with what Google AI says, it says the key aspects of a personal brand are reputation and perception. It's what people think, feel, and say about you. This is important because I'll give you an example. I am in the field of pornography addiction. I'm not really in the field of pornography addiction recovery. What we do is very unique. It is called rebooting. But the vast majority of men and women who send their husbands to work with us only do so because we have the same values. They vibe with my values. And as a result, we end up working with people that I am cool with. All my personal clients and clients in my group coaching, I only work with them if there are people that I would invite into my home. I want to say that again. I only personally work with people that I would hang out with in person and invite into my home. This makes the work enjoyable. This makes for long-term relationships. This even gets me to a place where sometimes I end up doing business with my clients down the line. It's a win-win for everybody. Sometimes the client years down the line ends up charging me for some sort of service. It has happened that is more than I charge the client for to help them with something. And I have absolutely no problem with this. I think it's a wonderful way to do business. But this is only possible because of my personal brand, because people are buying you, not just your service, especially in a crowded, competitive market that's filled with AI slop. I'm sure some of you have started, if you haven't, I don't know what's going on with you, but have you started noticing all the people writing and you can just tell it's AI? It's like, it's getting so exhausting to read. You're just like, wow, when did everybody become such a good writer? When did everybody become so good at writing and expressing themselves? That's one of the reasons why I've started shooting more videos. Because yeah, sure, people can read off teleprompters, but if you get on live and you're actually expressing yourself, you cannot hide that stuff. You have to be who you really are. As all these people start sounding the same, they are raising the bar because everybody is now seemingly perfect with AI. the competitiveness increases. Also, the barrier for entry is so low. Anybody can come in and just start churning stuff out with AI. You have to stand apart from all of these people. A person who shares their personal story via AI is very different from a person who actually writes about it legitimately, vulnerably, and puts themselves out there. AI cannot do that. And I think it's going to be a powerful differentiator because when you can share your story and your values vulnerably and imperfectly, you will eventually become one of the people who wins in your chosen field. It also says it's an intersection of skills and value. Basically, it combines your expertise with your personal, unique, and authentic personality. I think it's so important to do that. It's also important to repel the people you don't want to work with. So, for instance, some of my values are things like autonomy. I want to be an autonomous, self governing human being. I am a critical thinker, which means I do not accept things at face value. I think them through. Freedom is very important to me. I refuse to remain constrained or under mental, spiritual, emotional, physical bondage. And happiness is really important to me as well. And your happiness comes from the level of freedom, autonomy, your ability to think critically that you have within yourself. And when I express this, when I talk about freedom from pornography addiction, or I talk about anything in my life, people who appreciate those values flock to me. People who don't resonate with those values are not interested. And you might be surprised, maybe, no way, JK, those sound pretty cool. Who wouldn't appreciate autonomy and freedom? I'll give you an example. I recently shared a video about how I had left the United States for a while because as a rebooted man, I understand the importance of the environment that we're in. And somebody literally commented, running away is not the answer. That is an example of an individual who lacks critical thinking ability. That's not a bad thing. And it's not that individual, there's something wrong with that person. It just means that for them, it is easier for them to have a gut reaction to something rather than think, why is it that this person feels like that is the way? Like being able to see it from another person's perspective. Most people do not have the stamina for that. Another example would be I'm quite against dogma. It doesn't matter whether it's religious dogma or otherwise. But the moment I sometimes speak about religious dogma and how I am against it, that means simply accepting something. I'm not talking about having faith in something. There are a lot of people who confuse faith with simply accepting something. So you can have faith in something, but if you have not thought about that thing critically, if you have not examined it, if you have not applied some aspect of it to your life, first of all, you cannot just simply have faith because somebody said so. There is an element of the known, and then there's a massive element of the unknown. But the little that you have of the known is enough for you to put faith in it. But some people don't even have a little bit of the known. They don't. The known is just what somebody told them. There is no experience of this in their life. And so when I bring up something like this, you have people who have all these knee-jerk reactions because they feel they're being attacked. Again, in my opinion, these are individuals who are not truly free. And I'm not saying anything against religion because I believe in God. I believe in the universe. I'm in a hand that is guiding us through this. I do not believe anything I'm doing or saying is by accident. And then finally, it says consistency. A strong brand ensures a cohesive, accurate, and compelling message across all platforms. When people are reliant on AI, it is very easy for AI to switch up its consistency to something else in order to deliver what you ask of it. And the more people become dependent on AI, the weaker they become in their ability to formulate ideas and think and stick by their values. If AI is creating everything for you, for instance, when I sat down to shoot this video, I had no notes. I just was like, right before, as the live right now is loading, I was like, oh, I better just search what is the meaning of a personal brand. So I have something to share with people. But all of this is coming out from me extemporaneously but I'm very confident about it. Why? Because I am firmly rooted in my values and my standards. So each time I talk about this, I will be consistent because it is a value based expression of the idea that I'm putting out there. When people use AI, it is not going to be rooted in your values. What are you going to do? You're going to prompt AI to always write your articles or your essays or your expositions using these values. And then you say that, let's say you mentioned that, oh, one of my values is authenticity. AI, can you be authentic in what you're doing? Already you're throwing authenticity out of the window because it can never truly be authentic if AI is creating that for you. And you get the idea. I can go on and on about that. My point remains, you need to create a personal brand if you want to survive in the long term, especially those of you who are already quite successful in your careers. You are anonymous. Nobody knows who you are, or your personal brand is too small, or you're busy pussyfooting around going, oh, but I'm not comfortable putting myself out there. I'm on LinkedIn. My peers are going to judge me, all of that nonsense. It is time for you to start creating that personal brand. Now, I'm no personal brand expert, but I'm very comfortable expressing my values in the public because my values have been stress tested for the past 20 years. I'm in my 40s right now. I have a little bit of an idea of what I'm doing. So if you are in a career where you feel that you haven't developed your personal brand enough and you are in your 20s, 30s, or early 40s, and you'd like to learn the process of developing a personal brand, then I suggest hopping into our 20s mentor program. It is free for the first 7 days, so you get the opportunity to check it out. And personal branding, putting together your values, your standards, and basing them on principles is a very critical part of what we do. In fact, some of you don't even need to start building your personal brand until you have determined what your values are, the principles they are based on, and the standards. And standards are basically rules that you apply to yourself. You cannot apply standards to other people. I'll talk about that in a different video. If you would like to establish this, and I will work with you, not to find out random values and standards, but to actually walk you through a process of discovering your own values. By the way, some of the values that you already have that are unspoken and unconscious are sabotaging your life as well. And until we have brought them into the light, you are not going to build an authentic personal brand. Even the personal brand you build or try to build will be it'll be a cheap copy of what other people are doing. And then you will fall into the temptation to start using AI to bolster your personal brand. Let me make it clear. When your personal brand, who you are, is based on actual lived values and the standards you put forth are based on those experiences, AI cannot match that which comes from within. So I'm going to leave a link to 20's Mentor here and you can check it out. You don't have to join it, but if you enjoy watching this, I suggest you give my Facebook a follow. I'm going to be putting videos like this out a couple of times a week. Appreciate you guys, and I will see you tomorrow or the day after. Take care.
I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Porn Reboot podcast. I'll speak to you later on in the week. If you found this episode helpful, here are 4 ways I can help you with your out-of-control sexual behavior for free. The first way is to grab a free copy of my book, Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men at elevatedrecovery.org, or visit the link in the description below this episode. The second way is, if you're not sure where to start, but you'd like to learn more about my team and I, if you'd like to spend time with like-minded professionals and business owners who are controlling their behavior, then join our free and confidential group, the Porn Reboot Group on Facebook. There's a link to join in the description below this episode. The third way is if you need help right now because you have a burning issue, your behavior with pornography is hurting you mentally or emotionally, you're about to lose your relationship, You want to live up to your potential, be an authentic man, and free yourself from shame, guilt, and underachieving? Then click on the link in the description below this episode that says free coaching call. And the fourth way is to leave us a 5-star review if you enjoy this podcast, so that we can reach more men who are struggling in silence and bring back the lessons we learn from coaching them to freedom.